I've been doing a lot of live music in the last 10 years, probably more than I ever did back in the 80s. And while it's always great to sing a Kim Wilde song, and there's always an audience that wants to hear them, for me as a performer, it's sometimes nice to just sort of broaden the envelope a little bit. And so I started adding songs that I loved to sing myself from a purely selfish point of view, really. And of course, the audience loved it. So it's just worked really well. And quite a few of the artists don't perform that much, so they don't get to hear those songs unless I'm singing them. So it's worked out really well. I'm singing a lot of other people's songs that I love, I've always loved. And I was approached by my record company who said, do you fancy making an album? Put all these songs you love singing, put them on an album. I thought, yeah, well, I really do. You know, I've recorded a lot of albums in my career, and a lot of artists do record cover version albums, and I've always enjoyed those in the past. I thought, yeah, maybe it's my turn. I think it is. You know, it's my 30th year in the music industry. It's my 50th birthday, so it's kind of like a present to myself. You know, it's just me indulging myself, really, and hoping that the public come along. Well, I thought long and hard about all the songs. It wasn't an easy process. There are a lot of songs that you just love and they just simply don't suit your voice. So there were lots of trial and error situations. But I was used to that because Ricky and I have obviously, we recorded You Keep Me Hanging On back in the 80s. And we had always thought about doing a cover version and tried a few in the studio, and they'd never worked. Only when we did Hanging On did it work. So it doesn't matter that you love a song, doesn't mean that you should be singing it. So the process of choosing songs was quite painstaking, because you say, yeah, I love that song, and then you start to sing it and it didn't work. So we did a lot of that. A lot of time went into making the choices, and it wasn't as easy as you might think. It wasn't just a case of, oh, I love that song, I'll do it. And there were some good suggestions from people around me who love music, and but it's a very personal album at the end of the day. Yeah, the album's called Snapshots because the songs really do take me back to a point in time, either how I felt, what was going on in my life. So yeah, I chose the songs from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and more recently, to kind of as like postcards of those sort of times. But it's fairly chronological in a way. You know, I think the youngest memory on the album is from when I was 4 years old. That was a great start to the album for me. I just thought, wow, if I can sing this song after all these years, and then this is going to be great, and it's turned out great. It's a song called Anyone Who Had a Heart by Cilla Black, and it's the first pop song I remember hearing as a child, actually, and it had a big impact on me then as a 4-year-old, and it was quite daunting to be in a studio and actually try and sing it. I thought it would be easier than it was, but it was physically easy, but emotionally I found it was overwhelming. We turned around this album really quickly. It was only last year that I had my album come out and play, and we've been promoting that. The energy to make this album has been immense, but it's also happened in a relatively short period of time. And it was completely all-consuming. And as wonderful as that was, and I'm really pleased for the Snapshots album, you know, that kind of dedication to a project is finite. You can't carry on. I mean, you could, except the rest of the world would have to get on without you. And I've got kids and a life and gigs to do, and so a lot of energy went into a finite period of time, and I think we really got the best out of the album because of that. But of course, there are many other songs that probably I could find that I would love to sing, but it was good to just put a time frame on it, and I think sometimes more gets done if you do that, rather than just give yourself an open end to a situation. Well, I still love photographs. I mean, my new album Snapshots, I've spent hours going through photographs. Of course, I've got hundreds, thousands of photographs of my career, and then, of course, plenty more of my life. And so I've spent the few months before we put the album together spending a lot of time looking at photographs of myself. And it really was a real journey back down memory lane, and very moving and really sweet, especially some of the photographs right at the beginning of my career with my brother Ricky and my parents, and I was only 20 years old, and those memories are very poignant still. Well, I think gadgets really are boys' stuff. I mean, I have a husband who's gadget mad, and I have a son who's gadget mad. I'm not gadget mad, but I'm pretty much, part of what's going on. I tweet and use computers and work with them to a degree, but I'm still quite old-fashioned. I like to see and hold and touch things a little bit, but of course I've had to keep a pace with the digital age, and there's many good things about it, many good things. Well, one of the great parts of my career has been working with my brother Ricky. We grew up very closely together. I mean, he was conceived, I think, within 4 months of me being born. So there's actually a period of time when we're exactly the same age, and we're kind of like twins in that sense. And we've always been really, really close. And of course, we started our career together. He wrote Kids in America with my father and all the early hits. And now he's the MD of my band, and his daughter Scarlett Wilde sings in my as my backing vocalist and also as a writer. And working with Ricky is just great fun. Not only does he bring an immense talent to the table, but he also makes everybody laugh. And I think sometimes that's one of his greatest strengths. He keeps everyone really happy. But he's so talented. It's wonderful to have such a talented and funny brother. I wouldn't really have as much fun if he wasn't around. It's a real family business to a degree. I mean, my band have been with me for about 10 years now, so they kind of feel like my extended family. My manager I've known since I was 15. All my closest friends I've known since school. I've got new friends too, but I have a very a very solid base from where all this comes. And sometimes I think of myself as a little boat on the sea, and underneath me is this huge body protecting me and supporting me. So I'm just bobbing around having fun, and everyone beneath me is holding me up. Gives you an immense freedom to have that support, and it really helps you focus on the creative elements of your life. And as busy as I am with children and a family and a dog, everyone, to have creative freedom is an incredible privilege in life, which I have, and I don't take it for granted. So I think Snapshots is a real expression of that. I have been given a chance to make something really special, supported by an amazing group of people and individuals, some who I've known all my life, some who I've known more recently, and they've given me this gift of time, and that's priceless. Well, Ricky Wilde and I sat down and went through lots of songs together. Got really excited about some, tried them out, realised they didn't work. Got really excited about others, tried them out, realised they sounded fantastic. Had the speed of the project was very much down to the fact that I could work with him really quickly in the studio that's quite close to my home, where if something needed doing again, or that I could quickly do that. So from a practical point of view, it worked out great, but always from a musical point of view, it was always going to be fantastic. And for us, it felt like being like kids in a sweet shop. We could just have anything we wanted and try it out, and it was really really fantastic from that point of view and liberating. There's quite a lot of pressure in writing songs for yourself, and I love that too, and I did that a lot on my other albums, especially Come Out and Play. So it's wonderful to have that pressure off, and then you could everyone else is sat for hours or days writing these songs, and all you have to do is go in and breathe fresh, new life into them. So yeah, it was great fun. That's what I mean to say. in a nutshell, it was great fun. Yeah, all-time favourite artists. I really sort of had to. I came up against a brick wall when I got asked that question, and I get asked that question about plants as well. And they say, "What's your favourite plant?" I said, "Well, why would I have a favourite plant? They're all fantastic, in their own way." All-time favourite artists, it's impossible to answer. I mean, I was listening to Coldplay the other day, and I thought, these are my all-time favourite band. And then I was listening to Lily Allen. I thought, she is my all-time favourite artist. And then I was listening to Metallica. Oh my God, they are definitely. So, I mean, it goes on and on. It's impossible. So I'm not going to answer that question. Wow. Well, I mean, I suppose from a professional point of view, the most incredible situation that I encountered in my career was working with Michael Jackson, of course, in '88, because he was at the peak of his career, and it was when he was just exquisitely perfect. And I happened to be around at that time, and it was just a huge privilege to be able to stand on the side of the stage and watch him being perfect. It's not very often in life that you see perfection. I saw it for 3 months while I travelled with him and did 30 shows, and that was a huge honour, I'll definitely be touring with Snapshots in 2012. We're just sorting out the tour dates now. It's going to be really good fun to bring to the stage the songs on the album, of course. There'll be some that have already been included in the set before. But the new ones, that's going to be really exciting for me. And to see how the audience react to that, combined with obviously my old hits, it's a challenge. I think it'll be a visual feast too, a bit like the album itself. It contains a booklet with many photographs that I've sorted through. It's a very personal album, and we need to make sure that is represented on stage. So we'll spend a lot of time sorting that out. When I have a day off, which is so rare, really, that no one else is around, that a child doesn't need to go to school, or a dog doesn't need walking, or a dinner doesn't need cooking, or an interview doesn't need doing. But if I have that kind of beautiful moment of time, I will go out into my garden, and I will look after the plants. So that's a really sort of important part of my life, getting my fingers dirty. I love that, and growing things makes me feel really happy. And it's a great thing to share with my family, and then we get to eat all the lovely things out of the garden. But it's not so much about a practical. It's not really for practical reasons that I grow things. It's more of a spiritual food. Well, I've been coming to Germany since I was 20 years old. And it was one of the first countries that I started to come to when Kids in America broke. Rack Records, Mickey Mo's record label, had very strong connections in Europe, had already got a strong history with bands that they'd worked with before, with Susie Quattro and Smokey. And so that was really great for me. So I just kind of followed them and then ended up doing crazy shows like Music Laden and spending a lot of time with very determined journalists who wanted more pictures, more stories. There was one lovely lady called Margaret Riatti, who I remember really, really well, who used to pester me like mad and became a very close friend of mine. And then I used to just in and out of Cologne, Hamburg, Berlin, Munich, I was there all the time. So my relationship with Germany has just been, it's like a long time. I mean, that's a long time. That's 30 years coming to this country. And now I have a German record company, and one of the reasons that I got back in the saddle to a degree was working with Nena and working with her producer Uwe Pop-Prinzessin, and reinventing songs like Kids in America, which was a huge challenge, which I didn't think was possible, but Uwe managed to do that with me. And so, yeah, I don't know really where to end this conversation, because it's just an ongoing relationship that I love, and I'm truly grateful for and overwhelmed by, especially these days. The longer it goes on, the more overwhelmed I am by it. I think for me, really, you know, I had such an incredible start to my career. I was 20 years old. Kids in America was a massive hit all over the world. And then I spent a lot of time traveling and chasing that. And then another hit, Checkered Love. And so it went on for a while. And in a way, I was too young, and it was happening too quickly for me to really take it all in. And it wasn't until I got out and got married and had our children and took time out from that career that I actually started to appreciate how fabulous it was, and how incredibly privileged I'd been to work with the people I had, especially my brother, and how much I really enjoyed singing those crazy songs, you know, Cambodia and View from a Bridge, and they are a bit crazy. Then I discovered that I was a bit crazy too, so it all kind of made sense, but it made more sense to me in my later life than it did in my earlier life. When I was younger, I had a slightly uneasy relationship with being famous and being who I was, and now I'm older, I have a really fantastic relationship with it. So I've grown into myself. It took a while, but at least I'm having fun, and everyone else seems to enjoy the fact that I'm still around. So that's why I'm here talking to you. No, I never had goals really, except to all I really wanted when I was a girl was to sing on the stage and make some great pop songs and have a family. And I've done that, and I'm doing that. So I can't really ask for much more, and I can't think of what else is better than that. To live your life doing the thing that you want, you know, the greatest job in the world, as far as I'm concerned. I know it isn't, but I think it is. And then to have a family as well is just amazing, wonderful. I've got it all. I know it too.